In the crucible of the Cold War, the Soviet Union grappled with the complex interplay of ideology, state control, and religious beliefs. This documentary, Faiths in the Crosshairs, unveils the intricate ways in which the Soviet government navigated its relationship with Christianity and Islam. From atheistic campaigns to co-opting religious institutions, the film delves into the Cold War-era policies that shaped the religious landscape within the Soviet Union. Documentary exploration. 1. The Atheistic Crusade. The documentary begins by examining the atheistic campaign launched by the Soviet government, particularly under leaders like Joseph Stalin. It explores how religious institutions were targeted, with churches and mosques facing closures, confiscations, and anti-religious propaganda aimed at eroding faith in both Christianity and Islam. 2. Christianity under scrutiny. Faiths in the Crosshairs delves into the specific challenges faced by Christian denominations. It examines the suppression of the Russian Orthodox Church, the largest Christian denomination in the Soviet Union, and how the state sought to weaken its influence on the populace. 3. Islam's Dilemma. The documentary shifts its focus to the treatment of Islam within the Soviet Union. It explores the challenges faced by Muslims, the closure of mosques, and the suppression of religious practices. The film investigates the impact of state-controlled Islam and the tensions arising from the Soviet government's interference in religious affairs. 4. Co-opting religious institutions. Faiths in the Crosshairs scrutinizes the Soviet strategy of co-opting religious institutions. The documentary explores the creation of state-controlled religious bodies, such as the Russian Orthodox Church under the Moscow Patriarchate, designed to align religious practices with Soviet ideology while maintaining state control. 5. The repression of religious leaders. Delving into individual stories, the documentary highlights the repression faced by religious leaders who resisted Soviet interference. It examines the persecution of priests, imams, and religious figures who stood firm in their commitment to faith, becoming symbols of resistance against state intrusion. 6. The Cold War impact. Faiths in the Crosshairs contextualizes these religious struggles within the broader Cold War dynamics. It explores how the United States and Western nations framed religious freedom as a core value, contrasting with the Soviet Union's approach, and how these differences played out in the global ideological struggle. 7. Underground movements and samizdat. The documentary sheds light on underground religious movements and the use of samizdat, clandestine publications, to disseminate religious texts and teachings. It explores how believers found ways to practice their faith despite state restrictions and surveillance. 8. Gorbachev's Glasnost and Perestroika. Faiths in the Crosshairs concludes by examining the changing landscape under Mikhail Gorbachev's policies of Glasnost openness and Perestroika restructuring. It explores the relaxation of some restrictions on religious practices and the resurgence of faith in the waning years of the Cold War. Conclusion. Faiths in the Crosshairs offers a poignant exploration of the Soviet Union's approach to Christianity and Islam during the Cold War. By unraveling the layers of state control, repression, and the resilience of religious communities, the documentary illuminates the intricate dance between faith and ideology in a time of geopolitical tension and ideological conflict.